Lexington from the 11. Travis under pressure, trying to escape, able to escape. Turns the corner, stays in back. Gets to the edge. Johnny Michelle will send the Dogs home. To the 30, 35. Herman Whitfield to the 50, to the 40. Herman Whitfield to the 30. There's another first down.
Not dealing with much pressure at all when he does drop back to throw.
The play action, Bennett looks down the middle. McConkey's wide open. Touchdown, Dogs.
What's going on, guys? It is another episode 37 of the Knowles and Dogs podcast. We are back for week 5 preview. I almost said recap. We're not there yet. That's next week. This show is not sponsored by Alani, but if Alani wants to help us sponsor, we will.
We'd love it. We would absolutely love a sponsorship from Alani.
That would be awesome.
It'd be incredible.
So we have had some technical issues, but we are back now.
Yep.
And ready to talk about some football for week 5. Dylan, how are we feeling? Again, I will ask you that.
Oh, no, we're feeling amazing, man. I mean, it's a beautiful Thursday afternoon. It's, I don't know where you are right now, how it is out there for you, but, it's semi-clear skies, no rain, relaxed.
It's cloudy and I think like 80 degrees, so not bad.
It's 90 here, but, we give and take. So,
and it's 90 here, so.
But
just another day in paradise.
I'm excited. I'm excited to talk some college football with you today. I mean, last one we talked about week 4. So I can't believe we're moving so quick into the season. Really,
it's going by too fast. I mean, October is just a few days away.
What day do we get our college football rankings?
The playoffs don't come out till late November. Like probably week 10 or 11, maybe. I want to say it's like mid to late November, which I don't mind. I like that.
Yeah.
Or what they should do is just have them come out every week, start the year, and get rid of the AP because the AP is just a joke in general.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, no, there's no need to wait. I mean, I see why they do it, but there's just not really a point to it. If we're being honest.
So,
at least personally.
Come out on Halloween.
What was that?
Halloween.
I would
on Halloween night.
Spooky.
Week 9.
I know teams like Texas A&M are shivering in their boots. I don't know why Texas
A&M.
I don't know that honestly. If I'm going to be totally honest with everyone. No shot at A&M fans, but that was just the first name popped in my head. I don't really know why, but
yeah, that's fair though.
Anyway, so we have a good selection of games to talk about today. We are going to headline about 4 games that we are really focused in on. Some other ones that we're going to talk about, and we're all, of course, score predictions. I don't think we should ever keep track of our score predictions or just predictions in general. I feel like that's a lot of just failure that we're going to look back on.
Maybe next season if we get a little bit, we set up an Instagram, we can keep track of that. But I feel like we're gonna be too upset with how bad the ranking or numbers come out to me. It's like let's forget.
It's like on game day, the Herb Street McAfee, and then like they don't keep track. It's just they keep track of the guest pickers.
Yep.
Yeah. But what we do keep track of are best bets because we are 8-5-1, folks. This week, this season. 2-1-1 last week. A stupid push by Notre Dame because they can't play defense in the final drive. So, other than that, solid week. That's over 500 football, baby. So I got 4 more picks for you guys this week. We also have upset alert, and as usual, go through, and we just think which game might be the biggest one to keep an eye on, You're like, you're scrolling, it's like 2:30 to 5 o'clock window, and you're just kind of scrolling through games, and it's, the Georgia game's out of hand, so, you're just like, oh, dang, I didn't know A&M and Arkansas is a game right now. Holy cow! So
I mean that's your hope and prayer, right?
Yeah, you got to again A&M. I don't know what is with me today. No shot at A&M here, but again, I just happened to look at my screen. It's like A&M.
He just happens to look at his screen and goes, "Freaking Aggies."
Show you Aggies. You don't want us coming to A&M because we haven't yet.
You guys still have not gone to A&M?
A&M's been in the conference since when? What?
2012.
2012. Georgia's never made a trip there yet. Has never gone. A&M's only played. We've only played A&M once. And it was in 2019. Florida's been there twice, I think.
Yes, they have.
And we haven't been there once. So maybe next year. Not next year. Maybe the year after. Never know. Never know. But what did we say? Let's get rolling. Before I forgot, make sure we are subscribing. Guys, it's free. Come on. It's free. If you're thinking about the Roman Empire, think about subscribing.
Oh my gosh.
If you're thinking about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, or if you're into that, subscribe. Subscribe. Why not? It's free. We don't want to put a paywall behind this. It's free.
But we should.
No, because it's hard enough. We don't have enough subscribers to do that anyway.
But you know what? If you do subscribe, we'd also recommend if you hit that bell next to the button, it will put on push notifications for you. So whenever we drop a new podcast, you'll be notified immediately.
Yes, always want to do that. So, looking at last 3 episodes, Tuesday's episode, let's get the viewers up. Yep. Viewers are a little low. 5 likes. Love that. But last two episodes last week, 41 views, 30 views, 4 likes on each of them. Love the progress right there. Let's get it up even more. More subscribers, guys. Remember, we are 39 away from 100. That's the goal. 100 subscribers by the end of the year. So we got some ground to pick up, but I know you guys can do it. That's right. Because if we do, Dylan will shave his head.
Now hold on.
What?
I like my hair. I like my hair.
Maybe trim it up a little bit on the sides.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. All right. Let's get rolling into it because Dylan is now scared that might come true. Anyway, let's get into this as we start today's slate with the Deep South's oldest rivalry. Tradition. I think it's the 129th meeting between these two teams. Bitter rivals, even though they're on different divisions, as the top-ranked Georgia Bulldogs, the reigning defending 2-time national champion Bulldogs, make their first road trip to the plains of Jordan-Hare Stadium to take on the Auburn Tigers. Although the real question is, what is Auburn's real mascot? Because War Eagle, and then you have the Tiger. Which one are they?
They're the Tigers, but I think it's also strange that
why are we War Damn Eagle, but we have a Tiger as our mascot?
That's a fantastic question.
That's a great question.
That brings me to my larger point about this school, Auburn. They were built by the same guy as Clemson, and they're both Tigers. What is up with that?
I don't know. That's a great question, Dylan, that I just don't have the answers to.
And that's fine, but we'll get right into it.
That is a great question. But as everyone knows, this is a preview, so we are going to preview this game. Yeah, that made no sense whatsoever. But again, this is why we're here. Getting better each day. So Georgia rolls in. This is their first road game, and as a fan, I am tetrified. Is that even a word? I don't even know. I'm terrified. Tetrified, whatever you want to call it, of this game. Auburn and Florida are the 2 games I always get most nervous about for some reason, especially when you got to go to Auburn. I'm not really as worried when they got to come to us. It's more to Auburn because I've seen what happens sometimes just in general when Auburn hosts big-time teams. Yeah. And it can either go 2 ways. It either goes the nice way, if you want, where team goes in there, dominates, doesn't ever leave Auburn any sort of chance for hope. Kind of like what Penn State did last year when they rolled in and completely annihilated them.
Yeah.
Or there's the other path where it's you F around and find out, and then you're in a ball game in the fourth quarter against an inferior team. Like, ask Alabama how that happens, or Georgia a couple years ago. I mean, a couple years ago, it was 2019.
Yeah.
We only won by 7. It took a Bo Nix failed fourth down, and Trayvon Walker, to sack, to escape. Last year, A&M went in there. God, that was a boring game. Cadillac Williams led Auburn Tigers. They won. So that place is rowdy. They are one of the better venues in the SEC.
In the sport.
Yeah. And if you let the crowd hang around, as if any away game for a team that's highly ranked, going into a team that comes home after a tough loss, you got really nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Backs against the wall, kind of wounded animal mode. You're going to see their best fight, I think, from Auburn. Who plays quarterback? I'm not sure, because Peyton Thorne has started, but they have not really looked well the entire time he's played. But then again, Hugh Freeze comes out and talks about how, he's had a disservice. There's been poorly execution from our end, with the play calling, with the schematics, like all of it. So it's not entirely on him, but then, it's like, you're just calling the plays. They're the ones that have to go execute it. And the play might be good, but if you're not getting it executed from their side,
it doesn't matter.
No. So, like, Auburn only is, Auburn comes in ranked, I think what I just saw, they were ranked they were in the upper 50s when it comes to offensive total offense. Here they are, 51. The Tigers they're averaging 32 points a game. Granted, they played Massachusetts and put 59 up, and then Sanford 45. So that's going to skew it. But the two Power 5 teams they've played, they've had under 100 passing yards in both those games. I saw the stat, like 5 of the last it was like 5 of the last 5 Power 5 teams they've played. They've had under 100 passing yards in all of them. They had only 94 passing yards against Cal.
Yeah.
And then against A&M, they only had, what was it? They only had 56. And that's not good.
No.
Because Georgia can throw the ball and they can score a bunch of points. Georgia's getting Lad McConkey back this week. They have Deshaun Edwards back from a couple weeks ago. Carson Beck, I think, is finally getting his feet settled in. And, they had a really good game last week. They had 6 red zone drives and 6 scores last week. So I'm not too worried about it. Georgia comes ranked the 14th in the country, 41.5 points a game. They haven't turned the ball over a whole lot. I think if Auburn wants to win, they have got to force turnovers. That would be my biggest thing. And Auburn's got to have an impactful play early, impactful moments, whether it's a turnover, whether it's a big play to set up a scoring drive or something.
Yeah.
But you can't let Georgia just flex their muscles on you. The line is 14 right now. My only concern is, and then I'll let you have your input.
Yep.
If Georgia comes out again and it has a slow start again, that is just asking for trouble. And this is why I've been tempted to stay away from the line. Because I think they're going to win, but how much are they going to win by? Because if you mess around and you have a South Carolina game where you're down 14-3, because you can't score in the red zone, penalties push you back, and you're just kind of sleepwalking, you're not going to succeed. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to go into the half, and it's a 3-point game going into half. No. You do not need that.
No, absolutely. So, other things I want to note on this game, Georgia's currently in the middle of a 6-game winning streak, which
no
would tie.
Against Auburn, I was gonna say.
Yep. No, yeah, in the series, I mean.
Yeah, they've owned Auburn.
Yeah, for the last 6 years. But the last thing Georgia needs right now is a 2013, right? Where
Oh God, no! I don't need that. Don't
yeah, no,
even.
everything's going right for them except for everything.
How about 2017 when they
Yeah, no,
rolled
yeah.
in and lost
Mhm.
by was 17
In
against the number one team?
2017, they
They
lost by a little
lost.
bit more than that.
They get no.
They
They give.
scored 17.
Oh no, they lost by
They lost
23.
40-17.
They lost by 20. Was it? That's 23.
Yeah.
That's what I was. I was
Now,
getting 23 and
yeah.
17 confused. Yeah, you give up
hmm
a 40 burger to Jarrett Stidham and the gang.
Don't disrespect NFL backup
Oh yeah,
Stidham.
Jarrett Stidham, baby.
hmm
Anyway,
No,
continue.
yeah. No, but other than that, I want to point out just that this place has been Auburn's place to win games. They're home. They just historically every coach who's ever come to Auburn, that's what you do is you make terror at Jordan Hare.
Yeah.
Um, I do think Georgia's a lot better.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like obviously they're better, but like substantially better than Auburn this year. Auburn feels um not well coached yet. They feels like there's a lot of transfers there who feel like they're wasting their time.
Mm-hmm.
They have the Michigan State quarterback transfer who
Peyton
I,
Thorne.
I
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I believe Hugh Freeze just came out and said we messed up with him. It's not great to hear your head coach say that, but I don't want to make, big statements about Auburn this early just because it's still early in the season. They're 3-1, correct?
Yeah.
They didn't look very impressive to me against A&M at
Mm-mm.
all.
No.
Obviously there's a chance that they play at home. They catch Georgia with their pants down and then they pull the underwear down too, right?
Oh. Yeah. Yeah. That's why. That's why you don't want right there. For sure.
That's the fear though, right? That's the fear that
Yes.
in this game, Georgia's not going to play them seriously. Auburn's going to catch them lazy, and then
Mm-hmm.
Georgia can't recover.
No. But
Which
I
is
think
a very realistic thing that could happen. As hard as that probably is to say.
yeah, no, that's what like I'm biggest worried about is like I
Mhm.
just don't want them coming out just lethargic and just
Yeah.
not interested. But I think Kirby Smart will have them ready to roll. I mean, they usually
Mhm.
come always ready to go against
Yeah.
these bigger time rivals, because Smart, it's nice when Smart, he's been there. He's played in this rivalry. He
Yeah.
as a Georgia Bulldog alum, but like so he understands like the impactfulness of these kind of games, like the Florida
Mhm.
game, it's the Auburn game, it's the Georgia Tech game, it's the
Yeah.
you know South Carolina. These guys kind of games like you have to come ready to play.
Yes.
So I think they'll be fine. I mean, I
Mhm.
remember 2021, it was Bennett making his first road start at Auburn, and he played fine. I think you got to get guys like Deshaun Edwards rolling early. The offensive line, I think, has got to have their best game so far up to this year. Got to see better push up front early and often. I want to see Bowers keep rolling what he did last week. I want to see deep shots down the field with Arian
Mhm.
Smith and Lad McConkey. Like, get these guys going. And as far as on defense, hoping Javon Bullard and Mykel Williams are back. I believe Mykel Williams will be
Yeah.
back. He was sick last week, so he should be back. Hopefully Bullard is. I haven't looked at the recent injury report yet, the most recent one at least. So hoping those guys are back because if they are, I think they'll be fine.
Mhm.
Get pressure on them. Yeah, get
You
pressure
know,
and
yeah.
take care of it.
And I also want to say I don't want to make this big statement here either, but I do think Hugh Freeze is not going to last very long in the Plains, personally.
I think they don't mind him. I
Well,
think he needs to
I
get
was
another cycle in.
I was agreeing with you at first until I just reading the headline right now. He's getting in trouble with the school for violating the Constitution.
Oh, for God's sakes. Who
That's a
cares?
wild statement.
Constitution.
Accordingly,
Okay.
he's performing baptisms in the locker room.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong? He's
The
a man
players
of
are
good faith.
players are
A
not
clean pass.
agreeing to get baptized.
Well, you listen. You tell him you would go over to see Satan and Nick Saban. Excuse me. And he'll that. But here in the Lord's house here in Auburn, We do baptisms. That's the ice bath. You don't do ice baths. You get baptized.
It's like, oh my gosh.
So,
no, but yeah, he's getting in trouble with the school right now for using the lake next to the school to baptize students.
What's wrong with that? Since when is that a bit of an issue?
Auburn is a public university, not a religious one, is actually against the university's constitution.
Well, listen, you can tell the universities that's just unacceptable. Who cares? Let him do what he wants to do. If he wants to be a man of faith and just baptize and cleanse these people, why not? Anyway, Georgia will be winning this game, as my prediction says right here. I have Georgia winning 30-14. I think think Auburn keeps it close as far as maybe comes out swinging early, maybe gets up scores, but I think it's too much Georgia, too much talent, better offense, better defense, and do I think Georgia covers? Yes. But I think it's closer than most people think. Maybe going into the fourth, it could be. I think it might be like a 20-7 game late in the game, maybe like late third. But Georgia just kind of maybe gives up a score, but then just kind of takes control late, and that's it. So
yeah, that's completely fair.
Yeah.
I have Georgia winning 28-10.
Yeah.
Similar to you, I do think at halftime it'll be very close. It's gonna be like 14-10. Auburn kicks a field goal right before half to make it close.
Yeah.
Hugh Freeze says something wild to the reporter on the sidelines.
Just like when Shane Beamer said that we were kicking butt against them going into half, and then got shellacked in the second.
I was thinking more like when Lane Kiffin played Alabama, and he said, "Get your popcorn ready.
Get your popcorn ready, guys. Get your popcorn ready." Oh,
and then but then after that second half, I don't think Auburn does anything at all.
No.
I think
they
probably don't get the ball past halfway of the field.
No, the first. I want to say like the first 3 drives. So I'm very interested in watching because in the first quarter of these new clock rules, you may only get the ball maybe once, maybe twice.
Yeah,
twice is
exactly.
Then people freak out when you're only up maybe 7-0 heading into the second. It's like, well, they've only got the ball twice. So
yeah,
I'm interested to see how like the first 2 to 3 drives go as far as your Georgia and if it's looking good, keep it up. If it's not, figure it out fast. So
yeah, absolutely.
I am going to step away for about a minute or so. Dylan is going to get you guys rolling into the USC Colorado game.
Yep, I'll just give some basic statements.
Which game?
Oh, wrong person.
Wrong person, guys. Keep talking though.
Yep. So, where do we start with this one? We're going. USC is going to be playing Colorado in Boulder. It's going to be the 17th matchup between these two schools. And the last one is Pac-12 opponents. Weird statement, Colorado's moving to the Big 12. USC's moving to the Big 10. It's the last year for this one, and in my opinion, this is the last year Colorado can make a chance at getting that win. And I think the sad truth of it is, I'll hold off on that real quick. It's going to be a noon Eastern kickoff, so 10 a.m. Mountain Time. So really, really early for both of these schools. Way earlier than I think they were expecting or wanting this game to be. I would imagine this is going to be not the prettiest game to start the morning. But I will say Colorado is going to be hurting this game. And they're going to be hurting a lot. They're down both Shiloh Sanders and Travis Hunter. Now, there's a chance Shiloh is able to play this game. We need to see more. He was hospitalized after the game against Oregon for, I believe they said it was some sort of hit he took, really messed with him. So he was hospitalized. So I haven't read any news saying he might be back, but it's looking like Colorado will be down their top 2 defensive players, which is terrible. It's absolutely terrible for Colorado because they They aren't good on defense. I mean, there's not another way to put it. They've been lackluster at best. I mean, let me see this real quick. What is their defense averaging? Um, their defense has been. Let's see. Their defense has been one of the worst in college football based on uh, what we've seen. Their defensive line isn't very strong. They turn over the ball a lot, which helps them. Uh, it helps them, create moments where their defense can get off the field. But overall, it's been a pretty rough year. I'm gonna look this up right now because I'm getting kind of annoyed with how this is not searching up.
All right.
Welcome back, Hunter. Yep.
Where are you at?
I was just talking about Colorado's defense and trying to find where they rank. Yeah, I was
here, I'll
trying to
tell you.
find where they rank.
I'll tell you right here. I have the thing pulled up. I believe they were. Here, you can finish your thing. I'll find them here.
No, I was just in the middle of talk. They're 81st.
Yeah, not good. Not good.
No, not good at all.
Not good.
And,
Gotta be
it's
better,
surprising because let's look at where's USC's defense?
USC. That's scoring.
30th.
Are you looking at total defense or scoring defense?
I'm on the Athletic. I can't see. Hold on one sec. Stop rate.
I was looking at scoring defense. Scoring defense, Colorado ranks. Where are they? Not on the first page.
Mm-hmm.
I believe they're not on the second page. Yeah, that means they're on the third page somewhere. Not on the third page. So that means I passed them.
I actually think this is probably a pretty good way to look at defense if you think about it. Stop rate. What percentage of drives do they stop that end in a punt or turnover?
Yeah.
USC, 75% of the drives the defense goes up against ends in a punt or a turnover.
Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Say Georgia is 83%.
Love to see it.
Yeah.
You do love to see it. So have you just mentioned anything?
The only other thing I mentioned is the starters out for this game for Colorado.
Gotcha.
Travis Hunter and Shiloh Sanders is looking like. Obviously, we don't know the full situation with Shiloh Sanders. It seems like they've been pretty keen to keep quiet on everything going on with him.
Mm-hmm.
But it's looking like he's not going to play.
Shocker. Probably didn't want to get embarrassed again. Anyway, I was going to check actually scoring offense as far as both teams go because so Southern Cal ranks first in the country in scoring offense. They're averaging 55 points a game. Colorado falls just under, well, not just, but ranks 50th in scoring offense at 32.5 points a game. If you're Colorado, you have got to make an early impactful. Jump on the board early. Like, if you start falling behind, and I think I talked about this last week or last episode, like, you have got to be able to jump out early, especially you're at home. You don't have to deal with Oregon's fans or that crowd. You just have your home place. You've got to be able to get an early score or two and be out. Maybe, let's say, if you go up 10-0 early on USC, that is big time because now you have USC playing from behind for the time being, whereas you're down 17-7 in a blink of an eye, and it's like, what just happened? That's what you don't want to do because you don't want to get into a shootout with USC because they got the better quarterback. Caleb Williams is far superior.
A Heisman winner.
He hasn't thrown a pick yet. He's already thrown for exactly 1,200 yards, 15 touchdowns, no picks. Shador Sanders, 14-10 in yardage, 11 touchdowns. He only has one pick. So he's right up there too. And this is why these two guys are two of the top Heisman guys. The issue is Colorado is atrocious on the rushing attack.
Yeah.
Atrocious. And USC ranks among one of the best when it comes to rushing offense. No, running the football.
Rushing offense. Yeah, sorry.
Running the football.
Sorry, got
they rank.
Head mixed around.
I'm trying to find this. Like they're averaging close to. They might actually have it on here. No, it's not on there. Here, let me go to team stats. Rushing first downs. Oh, here we go. They're averaging almost 7 yards a carry, 6.9.
Mm-hmm.
Colorado's giving up. Let's see, because the line is not good for Colorado. Let's just, break it how it is. It just ain't. They're
I would say
giving
that's putting
up.
it lightly.
Colorado's only averaging 1.9 yards an attempt.
Yeah.
It's not good. Not good at all. And that's going to be a huge issue for them because they can't stop the run and they can't run the football. So you're going to have to put it once again in the hands of Shedeur Sanders to make plays. He's got guys on the outside of Jimmy Horn and Xavier Weaver. So that's not too big of an issue because I'm not really worried about that USC defense. Do I think they're going to be able to get pressure? Yes.
Yes.
Can they be consistent with it? That'll be something to look for.
Yeah.
And I think if you're Colorado, you maybe want to resort to maybe like quick throws, so that your quarterback's not getting left out to get just completely pummeled the entire game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like quick throws,
absolutely.
Get them out early, screens, slants, screens and slants and other stuff like that. Like, get the ball out fast and let your guys work. You know what I mean? Or maybe have shotgun bootleg stuff where you're getting Shedeur Sanders out of the pocket so he can either run or just create something on his own.
Yeah. If he's gonna pass the ball from the pocket, you have to be in shotgun.
Yeah.
He does not get enough time to go under center at all. I mean, if you watch that Oregon game, if the ball wasn't taken out under shotgun, he wasn't getting the pass off.
No, I mean the O-line is no good.
Nope.
The O-line's no good.
Mm-hmm. They're bad.
The D-line's not good.
Yep, they're bad.
So what they are good at are creating turnovers.
The problem is your guys who were the best at that on your defense are now out for the game.
Yeah. Colorado ranks 4th in the country in turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
4th turnover margin.
Yeah.
So they're able to create turnovers. They've only, was that passes intercepted right there? Oh, here we go. They're very good at intercepting teams. They ranked 5th in the country.
Yeah.
With already 7 interceptions they've created. So, that's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to create turnovers some way. And it's got to be multiple turnovers, like 2-3 turnovers and a heave and a prayer. Do I think they're able to keep up? I do. I mean, USC's defense is nothing out of the ordinary. They stink, personally. Remember, this is just my opinion. So they're not good. The secondary still a liability. I watched them tackle, and it's no good. They can't tackle well. So there's spots on that defense to exploit. Can they do it?
Yeah.
Will he have enough time in the pocket to find those liabilities or those weak spots is going to be the question, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and so they're losing. So without Hunter and Shiloh Sanders, that's 2 interceptions gone.
There you go. So they listen. I think they're going to be able to keep it close enough where if it gets to the 4th and it's a close game, you never know.
Yeah,
you never know because then all of a sudden you're maybe 1 or 2 stops away from making it really crazy.
Mm-hmm.
How big of a win would this be if they were able to pull this off?
It'd be the biggest win of the season.
Biggest win in program history.
It'd be the
in
first time they ever beat
20
USC.
years.
It'd be the first time they've ever beaten USC too.
Last 20 years, so it'd be the biggest win probably in program history.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Because I mean, if they somehow win and they go to 4-1, you got Arizona State and Colorado, or Arizona State and Colorado, Arizona State and Stanford next. So like, those are very winnable games.
Yeah.
So I mean, you could head into UCLA already bowl eligible.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be the best case scenario for this team, right?
Best case.
Yeah. Now the realistic scenario, I just don't see that happening. I just really don't see USC getting because this is like, isn't it? Last year the narrative was that USC could not do it. So this year, all they've heard is that. So I would think the biggest thing that teams with a lot of talent, like your Washingtons, your USC, your Oregons, are just going to want to pummel Colorado, right?
Yeah.
Like they're going to give them their best.
Do you think? I mean, we've seen this with USC before, where they come in huge favorites against a clearly inferior opponent, and they just struggle. Struggle. I mean, numerous times last year. I can't remember like the exact games, but like they like 1 week they play Stanford this year, and they crush them. They destroy them, and then they get Arizona State, who's no better, and they're having to score a late touchdown to go up 14 to hold them off. So it's like a very inconsistent bunch.
Yep.
You know, Caleb Williams gets his numbers, but it's not just a one-person show. So he's got to be there. I expect him to have a good game. I think look out for, you know, if you're USC, you're going to have to get your playmakers involved. So, you know, get guys like Marshawn Lloyd. I think Marshawn Lloyd's going to have a huge game on the ground. Again, like we've said, like Colorado's defense on the least the rushing side is not good. And if Marshawn Lloyd might average 7-8 yards a carry, and if he is, that's not good. Not good at all. And, you know, I expect guys like, you know, Taj Washington to have a good game. Zachariah Branch, who's been like that star freshman, he'll have a good game. You know, they got Brendan Rice out there. So, my God, they're averaging Taj Washington, their leading receiver, averaging 27.8 yards a catch. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So it'll be a very high scoring game. I think the over-under is currently 73.5. Colorado, it comes in as a 21.5 point underdog, Dylan. How do you see the game ending out final score wise?
So my final score was 42-28.
42-28. Okay. So Colorado covers.
Now, I do want to say I don't think this game is going to feel close though.
It'll be like a backdoor cover sense.
Yeah, my theory is that Colorado scores 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter to make it close, while USC just runs the ball.
I mean, even if they run the ball, they might just eat. They're gonna they might get just first downs every time.
Yeah, I mean you're not wrong, but I just think like fourth quarter, like I imagine this is gonna be one of those games where, similar to the Oregon game, where there's gonna be a lot of hype, there's gonna be a lot of talk, it's gonna have a massive viewership rating. Like I'd be willing to bet this is probably one of the third or one of the top 3 most watched games this weekend, right?
I wonder how it'll be when it's a noon kick Eastern time, which is crazy too. So it'll be a 10 o'clock start there. Maybe they'll just come in sleepwalking.
USC or Colorado?
USC.
I just don't see that happening.
Maybe.
I mean, I understand how that could I understand how that could happen, but I just don't see this happening with USC. I do think because it's Colorado and the narrative around Colorado and the talk and the amount of, attention they're getting, other teams are not going to cakewalk Colorado. They're going to go, we want to punch you in your mouth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of like how Dan Lanning was got very upset, had that big speech to his team. It's just this game, USC is going to show up for. This is going to be their Stanford game, right? The game where everybody goes, you know what? Maybe they do have a defense, and then they give 30 up next week to who knows, Arizona.
Maybe that
Yeah,
very real, very real.
yeah. That's what I think is going to happen.
I have USC winning 48-38.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a high-scoring, closer game, but I think
Yeah.
USC just continuously stays up, maybe like 1 to 2 scores ahead, really the entire game, and then Colorado's just not able to catch up. But I think it's a very high-scoring affair. I think both quarterbacks show out, but neither defense is going to be able to stop each other. So that's how I really see it. But I think Colorado hangs on. I think they hold their own at being at home. But I just don't think they have enough firepower on defense to make enough stops to get them the ball back to, take over against USC. All right. Let's move on to LSU Ole Miss. This is a SEC West showdown in Oxford this weekend. I believe LSU is a 2.5-point favorite right now going into this. A very wild game, a sneaky possible game of the week almost, though, because you have two teams, both have losses, but except Colorado. I had Colorado sitting up still. Just bad. Ole Miss has their one loss being in conference play. LSU does not. So LSU has a little wiggle room to work with as far as, jockeying for the top spot in the West. But if they lose again, they're maybe out of it right now in the playoff hunt.
I think it's over for them if they lose.
I mean, you never know with how much chaos that we still are in for because,
yeah,
the
absolutely.
Pac-12, they haven't even got to their back half, the cannibalistic part of the schedule where everyone's just going to eat each other up. The SEC West is wide open still. I mean, we're just getting into conference play, so you never know with these kind of games.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's not loading. Early initial thoughts with this?
My early initial thought is that Ole Miss has got to seriously bounce back if they want to be in this game. I think last week when we watched that offense, they looked just... What's the right word to describe them?
Slow,
boring,
lethargic, boring, not being able to get anything going.
Mm-hmm.
That was a tough game, especially that second half. I mean, really the entire game was just kind of like, what is this? They were able to limit Jackson Dart, especially on the ground. He had the one rushing touchdown, but, they missed that one field goal going into half, and that kind of, I think, deflated the balloon. Yeah. And then as soon as Alabama came out and scored, it was like, oh, geez. So I do think, we look at Jackson Dart, and he is their leading rusher. Like, it's not Quintus Junkins. It's Jackson Dart. I mean, and what we saw last week LSU saw last week, I can't speak today, and this is just unacceptable on my end.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I just got a notification. I need to sign this for the lease real quick.
Oh no, you're all good.
No, I'm just literally. I don't even have to write anything. I just have to tap yes to everything. So I've been like,
you're all good.
Yeah.
LSU, played Arkansas last weekend, and what really struggled for them was a mobile quarterback, and KJ Jefferson was able to run the football all over him. And if Arkansas turns 3 red zone trips, not field goals, but touchdowns, they might have gone into LSU and won last week. So, I mean, they only lost by 3. LSU was not able to get away from them. They were not able to pull away. And it was because, again, struggled against the mobile quarterback. The secondary still a liability. They still lack depth back there.
Yeah.
And, for as good as Jaden Daniels plays, he can't – the LSU offense can't just carry the load. And that's why I think this will be a very close game. It'll be a very tight game down the wire. Maybe, Ole Miss's crowd, who's not really ever been one to hype up about. very quiet. There's always been, times where they've had to beg the students to come out,
which is
but they'll come out.
wild.
Yeah, because Ole Miss is just like a middle of the pack, always kind of team. They're not really ever expected to do anything, but you still want to go out and support your team. This is a top 20 ranked matchup, 6:00 on ESPN. If Ole Miss wins, they're right back in that SEC Wild West in the SEC. If they lose, that's going to be a tough one.
Yeah.
Then you start pointing questions. Why are we consistently losing to Bama and LSU every year? What is happening that we can't win these games? Because it was supposed to, they were up at half at LSU last year and then got splattered the rest of the game and lost by like 20 something. They are up at half at Bama last week. They controlled the game last year against Bama. Couldn't win, but either one. What has to happen for Kiffin? Kiffin hasn't won a big game yet at Ole Miss, for being real. Mississippi State doesn't count as a big win. Kentucky doesn't count as a big one. They actually lost to Kentucky last year. Now I'm thinking about it. No, did they? I put that one on the Google search. Can't remember, and I even watched that game. If he can't consistently win or just win at all against these top 20 matchup games against, solid SEC teams that are ranked, do questions start, coming up about, is Kiffin the actual guy for the future? He does just as good as anybody else.
Ole Miss sneaked out with a win.
Okay.
But Kentucky was not ranked at the time.
Exactly. So I think there's a stat out there, and I might be wrong. I might just be talking out of my butthole, but I believe Lane Kiffin has never beaten a ranked opponent yet.
Let me check.
At Ole Miss. Could be wrong, but if I'm right, it would make sense because they just never have been able to. Or at least maybe, they compete, but they just are never able to actually get over the hump. I look at Ole Miss, who is averaging 470 yards a game. They have Watkins has 24 receptions, 347 yards. He's got to get involved. I think they need to expose that LSU secondary if they really want to. I think Dart's got to be able to use his legs. If he is, I think they're in really good shape. If you're LSU, you've got to be able to, get pressure on Dart, contain him into the pocket. If you're able to contain him and really kind of make him one-dimensional as a quarterback, that's going to be big. I think Harold Perkins has got to have a big game if they want to have that happen. Malik Neighbors needs to be showing out as he usually does. Jaden Daniels needs to play a clean game. He already has, 12 touchdowns, 2 picks, so he's played well. So he's going to have a really good game again. But, it's to be a very good game, I think. I think this is a close game. It's only a 2.5-point favorite. Over under 66 currently. Ole Miss has a 56.6% chance to win, according to ESPN Analytics, though. So, Dylan, who do you see winning this game, and what's the score?
So, I see LSU winning in a close one.
Okay.
I think they win 31-28.
Okay, so right down to the wire.
Yeah, I think it comes right down to the wire, only because I do think Lane Kiffin fixes out some of the messes. I think they get on track, but I think they still come up short because I think LSU is still better than them.
That's completely fair. And I think that it's just a tale of two different types of coaching styles, I think, too. You have transfer portal versus, transfer portal, but, also, develop and Brian Kelly. So I also have LSU winning a very close game as well. 27-23. I have the Tigers heading into Oxford and getting a big win.
Yeah.
I think it's a late turnover or something, or just LSU finds the rhythm late and kind of pulls ahead.
Yeah.
Gets a late score and, gets a big time stop or something. But I'm looking forward to that one. So
me too. That's going to be a fun one.
Oh, yeah. It'll be a great one. All right. So moving from the west to the east now, we'll head to Lexington Kentucky for a noon kickoff between Florida Gators, who are ranked 22nd in the country, I believe, versus the unranked but 4-0 Kentucky Wildcats. Kentucky right now a 1-point favorite, so basically a pick 'em in this game. This is a over under 45, so it should be a low scoring affair there in Lexington. You look at these two teams come in good records. Kentucky hasn't really had to prove anything yet. They beat Vanderbilt last week, but that's not very difficult. Florida, who looked just gross and atrocious week 1, has started to get some little rhythm going. They struggled last week against Charlotte, but that could have been more of like a sleepwalk trap game in a sense where you're looking ahead. You're not really worried about Charlotte. You do what you do. You do what you need to do to get the win, and then you move on. But you know what? I was there against Tennessee, and they completely dominated and overwhelmed Joe Milton, and were able to just control the run game and just ask Graham Mertz to do what he needed to do, which was just short throws, but smart throws. And that's all you have to do. He's a play action quarterback, I think. Well, that's at least how I see them using him as. Again, what do I always say? The Florida offense runs through the run game. And if they're able to run the ball, it sets up play action. And if they can get play action going, then they're in business. So, but the biggest thing I think in this game is Kentucky is allowing the fewest rushing yards among SEC defenses. I believe they're only averaging or allowing close to about 77 yards a game on the ground. Yeah, there it is. But Florida is, vice versa, only allowing 82 yards a game on the ground as well. So, these are two teams very good defensively.
I would say there is a but to that.
Okay.
Florida is only allowing 94 rushing yards a game, but that total swells to 108 in road games.
That's a very good stat because they have struggled on the road.
I would say Billy Napier is 1-4 on the road.
Yes.
That's his record at Florida, which is not good. That is not a good way to start at Florida. But
his only win was what was his only win last year on the road?
They had a good win on the road too.
It was who was it? Because it wasn't Tennessee. It wasn't. Oh, it was Texas. No, it wasn't Texas A&M. No. That was 2020. It was who did they beat last year? That was good.
I think it was A&M.
It was, that's right. It was A&M. Actually, now I'm thinking about it
they beat A&M 41-24, but A&M was not good last year.
No, they were not good.
They went 3-6. So Billy Napier's one win was against a 3-6 A&M.
Let me see some. So I'm looking at the stats here. So Kentucky ranks 9th in the country in rushing defense. Like I said, they're only allowing 2.5 yards an attempt, and they're only allowing 77.5 per game. They've only allowed 4 rushing touchdowns all year. Florida falls right just beneath them. I get way ahead of myself. I can't talk. 14th in the country. They're only allowing 82 yards and just about 2.88 yards an attempt. So both really good rushing defenses. And I think that's going to be a big story because I think whoever can get the running game going early is going to set the tone on the ground game is going to really help out the quarterbacks because there are two quarterbacks that are solid. Devin Leary does have, I think he has 5 touchdowns, but 9 touchdowns, 5 picks already. So he's prone to turning the football over. Graham Mertz, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. And there is a stat out there. You know who leads college football as far as transfer quarterbacks go and QBR or completion percentage? Graham Mertz.
Is that Graham Mertz?
It is Graham Mertz. Graham Mertz.
I had a feeling. When you were bringing up, you were talking about Florida's offense and then quarterback transfer who's leading. I'm like, I think it might be Graham Mertz.
It is Graham Mertz. Graham Mertz is right there. He's ranked 4th in the country, actually, in completion percentage. Comes into the 778 percentage. And, again, you're not asking him to win you a football game. You're asking him to do what's necessary. He's only, I think, allowing – there's a funny stat. It's like yards per attempt for him. I'm going to try to find passing yards per completion. It's crazy because it's super small. Like, it's only averaging like 3 yards a completion or something stupid like that. But it's like they're not asking him to do anything crazy.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to find it here. Georgia's. Oh, here he is. Florida. Graham Mertz, 11.5 is his average. So nothing crazy. Nothing crazy.
Yeah.
I think if Florida's able to create turnovers like they were really able to against Tennessee and just kind of set the tone, I think they're going to be able to win this game. Do I think Devin Leary's a better quarterback? Yes. But his turnover issue so far is something to be concerned of because this Gator defense is good.
Yeah.
And, what do you think about that?
No, I think you're absolutely right about that. I mean, Devin Leary has 5 interceptions in 4 games. He's averaging about an interception a game. That's not good. Like that's pretty bad. That's how you lose football games.
Yeah.
You give the other team an immediate column.
Yeah.
That, okay, well we're gonna at least get a turnover because this guy he's gonna turn over the ball. So, I mean, what do I say? I kind of like Kentucky a little bit more in this game than Florida. Just because, Florida has really struggled under Billy Napier on the road.
Do you think at some point that it's got to change, right?
I do think at some point it's got to change. What I'm saying is I don't think it's this game.
Okay.
I think for it to change, they need an easier task.
But I mean, most of the time when they go on the road, they're not going to play anybody easy.
I mean, it's going to change when they play Vanderbilt.
Actually, 1-4 in Power 5 games, right?
Yeah.
Because they did.
Yeah.
Oh no! Check that. Apologize
Actually,
because
it's just 1-4.
1-4 because I forgot. I was thinking about the USF game, but that was the year before Napier was there. That was the final year Mullen was there.
Yep.
Apologize.
Yeah, he's 1-4, and they only play really. They don't.
He did lose to Vanderbilt last year, though. At Vanderbilt.
At Vanderbilt, yeah.
Can't have that.
So, I do think I just think this game is going to be a little bit tough. This is going to be a very hostile environment. I would imagine it's going to be loud, like deafening.
I feel like Kentucky Kroger Field's never really like that crazy though.
I don't know if you remember, was it 2021 or 2022? I think it was 2021. Florida 2021 Florida played Kentucky, and that place was deafening.
But that was a night game though.
Yeah.
This is a noon kick.
What noon kick? I guess won't be as loud, but I do think this game means a lot to Kentucky fans.
I think it's a big game for both because, both teams come in 1-0 in conference play. So, you get a leg up on the other one, especially a division conference game.
But just speaking on what I know of Kentucky fans, because they all eat at a restaurant over by my house, the Kentucky Club of Sarasota. Congrats to you guys. But they take this game personally.
It's personal.
This game means a lot to them. Primarily because they lost for almost 20 years straight.
Yeah, it wasn't until they got their first win in the swamp. Wasn't it last year? 2018.
In the swamp. Well, the first time they beat Florida in 20 years was 2018. So the first time they beat them. Well, the first time they've beaten them since 1986 at all.
But I'm talking about in the swamp.
I think it was 2021 or 2022. Yeah.
Was last year.
Yeah.
Because they blew the game the year before, the 2 years before, I think.
Yep.
They were 6.5-point underdogs in that game last year.
Mm-hmm.
You know who hammered that and made a bunch of money from that game? Will Levis.
Yeah.
Shout out Will Levis, single man now.
Actually, no, Kentucky won for the first time in 2018. I was right. Yeah.
Okay.
They won 27-16. Then they had, but before that, before they beat them in the Swamp for the first time, they had not won since 1986, and that was in Lexington.
So,
but no, they beat them. They beat them in the Swamp 1979 too.
Well, that's nice. That was only what, almost 40 years ago, 30 years ago.
Yeah, but they hadn't beaten them at all since '86.
Nice. That was 79. So was 45 years ago. So
yep,
46 years ago. Nice.
Mm-hmm. So I just want to say that this game does mean a lot to Kentucky fans. I do think even if the noon kick, it will be very loud. Kentucky fans get really into this game. This is a game that's probably gonna be sold out. It's probably gonna be very blue. And I just see Kentucky pulling it out.
All right.
I think they just have the means to production.
Think it's a tight game though.
I think it's a tight game. Yeah, I think it's a tight game. I think it's similar to that. What year was it? Let me see. That 2021 game in Lexington at night when that game came down to the wire.
I think wasn't that an overtime game?
I don't think it went to overtime, no, because the final score was 20-13.
Oh, you know what it was? Kentucky just had a late score.
Yeah, but
really late score.
Kentucky had a drive at the end of the game.
Yes, because
I was working and they turned the TVs off while the game was going on, and everybody was really upset.
That was a great game because Florida lost.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Hey, I didn't say that though. I didn't say that. So
what's your final score?
I'm gonna go with 28-24.
I think it's a lower scoring game than that. I have Florida winning 20-17. I think they get over to the Kentucky hump at Kentucky. Look, when was the last time Florida won at Kentucky?
2019.
Okay, so it wouldn't have been that long ago.
No, it was not that long ago.
Well, I mean, it's for 4 years. They lost the last time they were there. So
Dan Mullen was their head coach the last time.
Shout out Dan Mullen. Anyway, I think Florida, is able to get a run game enough. I think ETN is going to have himself a big game. They get Eugene Wilson back, which is big. So another receiver who got banged up, I believe, in the Tennessee game. He got banged up because he missed last week. So now you're going to have another guy. Do I think Graham Mertz, if asked upon him to win the game, does he? I don't know yet. We haven't seen that yet. And I think we talked about that.
That is a lot to ask of that guy.
It's going to be a very good sign or a clear sign early. I would probably give you by maybe the 10-minute mark or the first or second possession of the second quarter, whether or not Florida's going to have a run game going. If they do, that's big time because, again, then it sets up everything else. If they can't, you take a team that wants to run first, pass second, making it pass first, run second into a tough spot because now you're one-dimensional against the Kentucky defense, which is always physical, always tough. And Mark Stoops has always been one of those more, grind it out, lower scoring games, but we're going to hit you in the mouth and you're just going to we're going to wear you down. So these games are always tight and lower scoring. So I expect nothing different, but I do think Florida gets either a late field goal or maybe it's up 20-13 at some point or 20-10 or something like that. But I think they hold on and get a big time win going into next week, which would be homecoming week, I think.
Yeah, okay. You know what?
Homecoming.
Interesting.
So
now, we do got to speed it up a little bit because we are running a little bit short on time. I want to make sure we can get through everything.
But we are going into now these games. We're going to just
quick
point or two,
rundowns.
And we'll just give our predictions. All right. So this is a Friday night game.
Yeah.
And this is the biggest game in the Pac-12 this weekend.
Yep.
Huge game. Yeah. Ranked. Well, I would think so. As far as ranked on rank goes, you have a top 15, top 20 matchup. Let's see. Top 20.
Yeah, number 10 versus 21.
19.
19. Okay.
So it's in Corvallis. Utah heads in there. Don't
Mhm.
believe Cam Rising has been cleared yet. So Nick
Yep.
Johnson, I would assume, gets the start.
Mhm.
I saw a report they had been splitting reps, but I would assume Nick Johnson is going to probably start again.
Yeah.
So, does that change anything? No, because they've been running with Nick Johnson all year so far.
Yeah,
So
and
I
they've been
expect
doing
nothing
fine.
different.
Yeah.
I think the Utah defense has got to have to step up again. They did
Mhm.
a hell of a job last week holding a UCLA offense that has been really solid and just
Yeah.
shutting them down. So they're going to have to do that again, except they got to go to Corvallis on a Friday evening, which is a tough spot. Oregon State is a
Yeah.
4.5-point favorite right now. And this is going to be a good game. I'm eager to see how effective the Utah offense is because Oregon State's going to get their points. They're going to run the
Mhm.
ball really well. Even
Yeah.
last week when they were trailing really the entire game, they still ran the ball for over 240 yards. So
Mhm.
they're going to be able to run the football. I think for Utah, they're going to have to limit them if they
Yeah.
want to have a shot, and they're going to have to score points. They've struggled a little bit this year, but I think they're just going to have to score points and keep it a low-scoring game if they want to. If they can take it into the third or fourth and make it a one-score game, a low-scoring game late, I think
Mhm.
that's what's going to be the recipe. Kind of like
Yeah.
how the Baylor game went, except hopefully it's not as dramatic at the end, but
Yeah.
that's what they're going to have to do.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think you're right there. The only thing is I just with the way Utah's defense played against UCLA, I can't help but just like lean with them right away.
Yeah.
And I'm like immediately like, you know what? Maybe they can shut down Oregon's offense. I mean, Oregon State, sorry. Oregon State's offense looked fine against Washington State, but DJ didn't do anything spectacular. I think he threw just under 200 yards.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if Oregon State gets shut down, which is very possible because Utah's defense is that good,
Yeah.
I think this game could be completely flipped and we're seeing a Utah blowout.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's completely possible here.
I just saw, so Utah ranks, so Oregon State ranks 9th in the country in rushing attack, 224 yards a carry or a game.
Yeah.
And Utah ranks, well, crap, where was it? Rushing defense. Utah ranks 3rd in the country in
hmm
rushing defense. They're only
Yeah.
allowing 51 yards a game. So that's
I
going to
mean,
be the biggest indicator. If
we,
Utah's
yeah. No, you're
able to
right. 'Cause
stop the run,
yeah.
that'll be it.
I would say because we saw Utah completely stop Florida from running the ball. And what did
Stop
that do to
them,
Florida's offense? I mean,
shut them down.
Florida could not run the ball on offense, and then all of a sudden their offense couldn't do anything at all.
No.
I think if Utah can do that against excuse me, if Utah can do that against Oregon State, I think forget about it. We're watching Utah win in Corvallis.
I think Utah wins 21-17. I think they get a huge win on the road.
Yeah.
Huge win. Do you have a score projection for that?
I didn't have a score prediction.
Make up a score. Come on. Make up a score. No,
26-7.
Wow. They blow them out.
Yeah.
Hot take there for Dylan.
I know. Hot take. But, if I win, what do I look like? A genius.
And if you lose, bzzz.
Okay, now relax.
Anyway, all right. Notre Dame Duke is our next game. This is the primetime game on ABC. College Game Day is going to be in Durham for the first time ever. The Dukies have something cooking there in Durham, where they are led by big-time star quarterback Riley Leonard.
Yep.
Who's just been super consistent, Mr. Reliable for them last couple of years. And you got Mike Elko, who's just been one of these up-and-coming coaches. Won 9 games last year, his first season. He's looked great so far. And now you got a Notre Dame team coming in who, just a brutal loss last week against Ohio State, where really they had chance after chance to just end the game. And they couldn't. Now they got to go to Durham, where you got a Duke team that's already taken out Clemson there. And it's another night game. And I think that crowd's going to be as good as it was against Clemson. And, we're going to see. This would be a good test for Duke's defense. I don't think they've seen a quarterback as good as Hartman. I think Notre Dame's able to score more points at least this week. But I do think Notre Dame finds a way to get this win. I think it's a really good game, but I just think that the offense for Notre Dame's better, and I think they're going to be able to get back on track a little bit. Not saying they're going to be able to fix maybe everything, but I do think they're going to be able to get on track, and I think Notre Dame wins 27-23. Riley Leonard's still going to have a really good game, but I just think if you look back at the Clemson game, if Clemson doesn't turn the ball over 3 times in the air in Duke territory, we're looking at it as a different game. So I think that Notre Dame's not going to make those mistakes, and they're going to win. Big time win at Duke.
Oop, sorry, it was going to die.
It's okay.
But only thing I wanted to add is the over-under is 52.5. I don't know about you, but yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. I was going to say that feels really high.
Big under game. Take the under.
Yeah.
My prediction 27-3. That's 50. So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
That's called sweating it out. Yeah.
I was thinking 24-14.
Respectable.
Yeah.
All right.
I think the Dukes keep it. I think the Dukes keep it close for a while.
Yeah, I think it's a close game, but I just think Notre Dame's able to get their mojo back a little bit.
Yeah.
And take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
So Kansas, Texas, Dylan, is our final game here before upset alert.
Yeah.
We are just rolling through a lot of sneaky Saturday here. A good Saturday slate. So, but Kansas, Texas, trap game possibly for Texas. They got Oklahoma on tap for next weekend. And if Texas can take out Kansas this week, Kansas Jayhawks ranked. Jayhawks 4-0 Jayhawks. Are they ranked? Actually check that. They may not
24. They're ranked 24th in the country.
Jayhawks. Jalen Daniels, has over a 78% completion percentage. Very, very effective quarterback. And let's see, last time Kansas was there, they won. So as a 35-point underdog. So never forget that game for reasons I don't want to talk about. Anyway, Texas, I think, only issue is it's a sandwich game. Yeah. Do they look ahead is going to be the question. If they look ahead and they're going to get into a dogfight because Kansas is a very good team and they will come in and mess you up if you don't want to take them seriously. But I will say a cool stat for you. First time, I forget when, but first time since I think like the 80s for Kansas that they started back-to-back years 4-0. So Lance Leipold's got those guys.
He's got those guys moving. But I do think Texas is going to win this game. There's a couple things that lead me to believe that. Is it's just Texas's offense feels amazing right now. It feels like they're in a groove. They're hitting their stride. Their running back, what's his name? Let me pull that up. Jonathan Brooks. He's been playing pretty good for the last couple of games. He's not as good as Bijan is, obviously.
Yeah.
From last year, Bijan put up 243 yards against Kansas. But one of Kansas's big pieces of their defense is the fact that they really do they have a good defense on stopping the run.
But
one of their better.
They only give up 93 yards on the ground and just over 200 yards passing, so it's a solid defense.
Yeah, but I do think one of the keys to the game is going to be if Jonathan Brooks can get the ball running. He didn't run well against Alabama. They kind of gave up on the run halfway through the game. He only got 14 carries, but then last week against Baylor, he got 18 for 106 yards, 5.9 per carry, and against Wyoming, he got 21 and 7.8 per carry.
That's good.
He looked really improved after that Alabama game. So I really do think if there's any guy that could be a key that's not, it's not Quinn Ewers or Xavier Worthy, you know what I mean? It's going to be this running back.
I think this is a very high-scoring game. I think both these offenses, who both come in averaging over 430 yards a game in total offense, these guys are going to be scoring points. Whether it's close is the question. But I do think that it's a very high scoring game. Texas is
Yeah.
a 16.5 point favorite. The over under is 61. I would take the over on that first and foremost. But I don't think Texas covers, but I do think they win big enough to where it's still a 2-score win, maybe like 2 touchdowns or so.
Yeah.
But I do think maybe it's tight early, but then Texas wakes, or let's just
Texas pulls away.
got it. Yeah. We're the better team, more complete team. Let's take advantage of it. But listen, they should not be overlooking this Kansas team because Kansas will take care of you, or at least keep it close, give you a fight for 4 quarters if you let them. So I do think final score is Texas 41, Kansas 27. Like I said, I think it's a higher scoring game, but I do think Texas wins comfortably.
So I had Texas 42, Kansas 28. I do think it's similar to like you said. I think Texas takes care of business. It might look close on paper, but I think Texas feels like Texas has the game in the bag.
That's good. Alrighty. So we're gonna now move on to upset alert here. So I'm gonna give Dylan a bunch of games, and we're gonna think which games might be the most one to keep an eye on. All right, so we have Louisville and North Carolina State, Texas A&M, Arkansas. It's the neutral site game. Keep in mind, A&M down Connor Wegman for the entire rest of the year.
Are they favored?
6.5 points, yes, with Max Johnson. So Connor Wegman out for the year with a bone fracture in his foot, but it's one of those what's the word I'm looking for? Like the ones he put pressure on. I forget what the word is.
Yeah.
But
I know you're talking about, but yeah.
It's a foot injury. He's going to be out for the year. It's like a 3 to 5 month recovery. So Clemson's at Syracuse. Syracuse 4-0. Clemson 2-2, but it's been a house of horrors there for them last couple times they've been there. That's why, because there's no AC in there.
Yeah, that is
Michigan
sued for that.
Michigan's at Nebraska. First time Michigan's been on the road this year. Nebraska is currently, believe it's 17-point underdog at home. So let's see if Nebraska has any fight on them.
Which doesn't feel unfair.
No. Missouri's at Vanderbilt. Could be a trap game there with Missouri having LSU next week. They have Vanderbilt this week, so look out there.
No, I think the future playoff contenders are okay for now.
Listen, take it easy. Hey, listen, I still got some games here.
Okay.
Bama's at Mississippi State. Bama has owned Mississippi State for 20-plus years now.
2007 was the last time Mississippi State won this game.
So, again, let's see if Mississippi State has any fight in them because they haven't. They had a little last week, but none the week before. So, Washington comes in as I believe an 18-point favorite going to Arizona.
Yeah.
And then South Carolina's at Tennessee. Let's see if the Vols, who are rolling the blackout jerseys, have anything to say about the Gamecocks coming into town. All right, Dylan.
Well, there's that most obvious pick ever here.
What?
A&M. They're 6.5-point favorites with their backup quarterback.
No, starting quarterback now. He's not a backup anymore. Former starter.
Brad Johnson's son is a backup.
Okay, take it easy. Don't listen to Max Johnson. Hate is just uncalled for here. What is with this? Did we wake up just hating A&M today? Because, I had the early comment.
Yeah, you had your A&M
Okay. I mean, what is this podcast? We do not
I don't hate
A&M.
Texas
I just want to let everyone know.
I don't hate Texas A&M. I just think right now, with them being 6.5-point favorites at a neutral site versus a rival who I'm pretty sure, what was the score just a couple of years ago?
It was close, but I don't remember off the top of my head.
Let me pull it up. I got you.
I'm going to look up the current spread actually on that game. Make sure it was still 6.5. Yeah, A&M 6.5 right now. It's crazy.
That's so high.
I would be tempted to take the Razorbacks, but I mean,
okay.
That's with me.
So, Texas A&M won last year, 23-21.
That was the field goal that went off the post.
Yep.
So, I would say game. I think the Missouri Vanderbilt game might be closer than people think. I know how bad Vanderbilt is.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, I think Missouri, if they win, they get LSU at home. They would be 5-0, ranked, and that's a noon kick next week. But
yeah,
I'm telling you, look ahead spot. This is the ultimate trap game. You have Vanderbilt at Vandy. Do they come ready to roll? Is going to be the question. I'm telling you. And of course, Arkansas. That Louisville NC State game, that's a Friday night game. That could be a sneaky one too. That's at NC State. Louisville 4-0 heading in there. Never know. Wolfpack Friday night.
You know, it's also surprising to me looking at this. I had no idea Arkansas owned this rivalry against A&M.
How bad is it?
It's 42-34.
Oh, well, that's not terrible.
They got an 8-game lead on them in the rivalry. Probably because they lost to them for about a decade in the.
But it's been
60s.
back and. Oh, that doesn't count. But I mean, it hasn't been back and forth though as of late. So, these are one of those games. This game is very just like no idea what is going to happen in this kind of game. All right, I think we're ready to finish it out here with some best bets. Like I said, beginning of the podcast, we are 8-5-1 so far this season. So we are above 500. That push that from late Notre Dame game, if they just hold on and have 11 guys on the field, we're looking at a 9-5 start, guys. So, making money is what we're trying to do for you guys. We went 2-1-1 last week, and I got 4 plays again this week for you. And crossing my fingers are good. So, Texas, Kansas over 61.5. It's now down to 61. So take that. I think it's a high scoring game, like we've said. Yeah. But even if it's not close, I think it's a high scoring game and points are going to be scored. Or it's going to be like a 40-10 game and we don't hit. So, but I'm banking on it being an over game.
We're banking on it being close.
Come
on, please, Jayhawks, help us out here.
Jayhawks, maybe even Texas. Let's go. Come on, hook them. Hook them, Dylan.
Hook 'em horns.
There we go. Arkansas plus 6.5. I think KJ Jefferson is the better quarterback here. I think Sam Pittman and the gang are going to be cooking up a win in Dallas, in Jerry's world. Colorado plus 21.5. I think how we've talked about, I think the USC's defense is poor enough to where they will give up points. And I think even if it's a backdoor cover spot, Colorado will cover this game. It's be like a similar like Kansas-Texas game where Texas and USC are the better teams, but you could see a spot where both teams are scoring enough points to keep it relatively close. And then Nebraska plus 17, even if you want to buy points to get it up to like 18-19. I think Michigan has not been able to cover all year. They can't cover. They didn't cover last week against Rutgers. Let's go Rutgers, by the way. Anyway, it's been the slow starts, and now they got to go on the road in Nebraska, where allegedly it'll be another sold-out game, allegedly. Yeah. But, listen, let's see if Nebraska's got something pulled up their sleeve. They almost beat them last time Michigan went there. They blew that game. So we'll see if it happens this week. So go through it one more time. Kansas, Texas over 61. Arkansas plus 6.5. Nebraska plus 17. And Colorado plus 21.5. Those are the 4 plays for the week. What an episode. Thank you. Thank you.
Sir. What a long, good episode.
It was a great episode. Now we get to just enjoy the games this weekend starting. We have Thursday night football tonight. We get Friday night football tomorrow. Go rolling into Saturday. So make sure you guys are subscribing to the podcast. Remember, we are 39 away from 100 subscribers. So keep subscribing if you haven't already. But also continue to view the podcast as the biggest thing. As long as we're getting views, I'm happy. Subscribers are extra little sprinkles and cherry on top. But if we're getting views, that's where the icing, the cake is, right there. You got to have views to get the subscribers. So listen to us on Spotify down there and continue supporting the podcast. We have big time rebranding coming up very soon.
Yeah.
Just have to finish up about one or two things. Could be ready by next podcast. So keep an eye on that and enjoy the Saturdays, guys. Dylan, any final thoughts?
Just hit the notifications button, please. We want to
Notifications.
make sure you get notifications for when new podcast episodes drop.
Big time. Notifications on, subscribe, and watching the video. That's all we ask for you guys. Enjoy your Saturday, and we'll see you guys next week for a recap.
Yep.
Peace out.
See you guys.